Hey everyone, it's George. Welcome back. I hope you're doing great wherever you are in the world. This video today I want to talk about Portugal is on the verge potentially of having another election, which will be the third election in 3 years, which is not good or does not show a lot of stability in the government. And I wanted to talk about it briefly and then also talk about how that may impact you if you're a foreigner, you're an expat living in Portugal. So it seems like from what reading and watching on the news, the Prime Minister has some family dealings, some businesses that I think the other parties and other members of government wish that he would dissolve himself from, at least while he's prime minister. But that's causing some issues within the government. So they have called for a confidence vote, or like a no confidence vote, as I would refer to it, on whether he should be in power and his party should be in power. So that's going to happen, and once that does, I'll make another video because it seems by all of the reporting coming out of Portugal is that it's going to be like a no confidence, meaning that the president, so President Sousa, can make a decision to dissolve parliament and announce elections, which again is not something, each time this has happened, well, one, there was a resignation of the last prime minister with Costa. It seems like the president, Sousa, has been very, resigned at wanting to create more instability within the government or uncertainty by having these elections. But it is what it is. It also shows kind of where some of the politics is in Portugal. There's a lot of ridiculousness in my home country and how things are, but there's just as much when it comes to the Portuguese government and what happens there as far as who's at the top, the parties at the top, and what issues are happening that are plaguing many of the leaders that get into the prime minister role in Portugal. And the thing, when we lived there, we were in 2 of these elections, as well as now seeing from a distance potentially a third. How does that impact you as a foreigner? If you're an immigrant, expat, whatever you prefer to call someone that's not from Portugal, how does this information and the politics of Portugal impact you? And in all honesty, it didn't impact us at all. And in talking to friends who were from other countries living in Portugal as well, asking them, it was a subject of conversation, but it didn't impact day-to-day life. Where it did impact and where it will continue to impact is if you think of it from a foreigner's perspective. Okay, so the concern as an immigrant or an expat trying to get into the country and residency is dealing with the agency, so this one, AMA, involved in helping immigrants get into Portugal. So government agency that is assisting foreigners and in this matter. Well, if Portugal has an issue with who's going to run the government and who's going to be there, and every year they're having this issue, there are more important priorities, quite frankly, that Portugal is going to deal with as far as the people and their government, and where the concerns are about AMA taking forever to get an appointment, a backlog of appointments, not having your card get renewed, your temporary residence card, going through citizenship. That was told when we moved in 2019 that if we went for that, because after 5 years you can apply and go through the process, it'd take 18 to 24 months for that to happen. Now, in talking to representatives at AMA as well as a representative in the Portuguese government, they're telling me that it's now 3 to 4 years based upon lack of resources and also just lack of focus. Right now, for much of the time that we were in Portugal, and now that we haven't been there for the last several months, Portugal's got to worry about so many other things internally that handling immigrant matters is far down the list. Let's just say it's not even in the book. It's like several chapters in 3 books down that they'll get to maybe. So where I'm going with that is if you're contemplating a move to Portugal, the immigration process is going to get worse because the government just continues to stay in flux. And for those of you that are in Portugal, as some of you have commented on recent videos, the renewals to try to get your card have been very difficult, or to even, maybe you got the appointment, but to get the card has been several months and you're still waiting for your card. So the process of moving to and living in Portugal, change at the top of the government doesn't really impact your day-to-day life, but it does impact fully when you're immigrating to, or those times when you're looking to renew your residency or try to get citizenship. So I'm going to stay on top of this. I knew I'd heard, and because I try to watch the news every other day of what's in Portugal based upon time difference, I knew that something was brewing. I just wanted to make sure I got this information out to those of you, because those of you watching are primarily in Portugal or looking to move to or consider living there, so you knew what was happening. But it's not something that I think that you should take your eye off and I'm not going to move to Portugal because of the politics. This is just more of business as usual in Portugal. So I just want to make sure that you're aware of it. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch the video, and enjoy your travels.